Good morning to you. How are you doing? I hope that you're well, that you've had an amazing week right from Sunday, that the Lord has been good to you, and that you're happy and healthy this morning. And if you're not healthy, we pray that you'll be healthy, that you'll be fully healthy, not only your body, but also your mental health. We say that mental health is also very important. So kama kuna kitu yenye haiko sawa, we pray that your healing will come in Jesus' name. Karibuni sana. This is Afya Clinic right here ndani ya MBCI TV ambapo tunabadilisha maisha by the grace of God. And of course, unajua hapa ndani ya Afya Clinic we talk about everything health. And we say that you are very diverse. We talk about everything that affects your life in terms of health. So we talk about mental health, we talk about diabetes, we talk about all that. And today we are having an amazing conversation because this will be very impactful to each and every one of us. Sawa sawa. So maybe not directly, maybe indirectly, but it will be very, very, very impactful. And I will be introducing what we'll be doing in a very, very short while. Bakaribuni sana. This is just to remind you, and if you're new here, kukwambia. Karibu sana. First of all, this is a family. We love expanding our family. So karibu sana. If it's your first time, feel at home. All right. So this is just to tell you that we're live. We're live on Facebook, on MBCI TV Facebook page. We're live on YouTube, on MBCI TV official YouTube page. And then our WhatsApp number is very open. That is 0721 105 105. All right. And then we have our SMS code, which is absolutely free of charge. That is 23814. Ukienda pale, you text in, we'll be able to get your comments. Now, today we're having a very amazing conversation. We are talking about people with disabilities. Mostly, we love to term it as people who are abled differently. Yeah, as you can see here. So we are empowering people with disabilities for a more inclusive society. Because we've seen there's so much stigma that surrounds people with disability. And we've seen with time that these people are very well abled, in fact. They're able to make a living, they're able to do great things, and this is a fun fact. Tutakuwa tunajua as we continue with the discussion. There's someone who said that someone who's abled differently anakuanga very sensitive. So if probably this person is blind, their hearing is very, very, very sharp. You know, so we'd want to know more about that. So if you have any question you'd want to ask, our numbers are very open. That is 0721 105 105, on WhatsApp 23814, our SMS code, and of course on Facebook and YouTube on the comment section. But before we continue to the topic of discussion today, we'd love to get into the health updates. And today we'll be talking about something that has been very common, something that most people have been talking about. And yesterday, we saw more of it. Yeah, we are talking about femicide, and we felt it was very important for us on the news update to talk about this today because the UN has decided to bring Kenyan men to fight femicide as well. And the UN Women, Kenya and UNESCO are working towards intentional male engagement as the frontline champions to prevent femicide and violence against women and girls. Male involvement is one of the most crucial strategies to end passive violence and femicide against women and girls. According to the Deputy Inspector General and of Police, ambaye ni Eliud Lagat, roughly one woman is killed in Kenya every day. How sad. How sad is that? Now, the UN Women, in a statement, said that it is actively collaborating with partners and stakeholders to implement initiatives that are focused on male engagement and capacity building, aiming to enhance their role in curbing violence against women and girls. The initiative also promotes a deeper understanding of the social constructions of masculinities tailored to specific cultural and societal contexts. Further, the UN Women Kenya and UNESCO said that they are working on mechanisms that will integrate young men into the national male engagement inclusion strategy. Male engagement is an approach to constructively involve men and boys for the benefit of both genders, ultimately ending violence against women and girls. In the National Young Male Dialogue hosted by the UN Women Kenya and UNESCO examined the transformative impact that can be realized in engaging men as change agents to end femicide. The forum also delved on how gender norms shape the experiences of men and boys, as well as understanding the stereotype of men and boys. A country like Kenya is targeting to end gender-based violence by 2026. That is just 2 years to come. Men will play a huge role in actualizing such goals. Additionally, the Kenya National Policy on Gender and Development of 2019 promotes men involvement in managing and responding to sexual and gender-based violence. This is a huge step towards ensuring that males' involvement in gender sensitive is both public and private spheres. Yes. So I know this is a very personal opinion, but I think that the fight that we're having against femicide is not about ladies peke yake. It's about everyone, because it would affect anyone, your daughter, your sister, your cousin. So it's not like a one gender thing, ni ya sisi sote. So we should do it sisi sote as a country. Sawa sawa. So that is it on today's health update. We've been talking about femicide, and we are seeing how things are rolling. This has been the month where people have become very vocal about it, as we saw yesterday. Especially in Nairobi, people are very, very vocal about it. But here, maneno iko sawa, we do trust that the Lord will help us, all right? Now, we're getting into the topic of discussion today. As I said before, today we are talking about people who are able differently, as most of us would like to term it, but people with disabilities, all right? And there's a whole structured organization that deals with that. Now, we'll be engaging in this discussion where we just get to see, let's just start with a support group for people with disabilities, and how is it structured? If you're living with someone who is able differently, or you yourself is able differently or disabled, then you'd love to know if you'd get a support group for that. But I'd love you to know who we are having today on board. We will not be having one guest, we'll be having two, which is a bit different for Afya Clinic normally, but ya leo itakuwa iko sawa kabisa, so do not worry. So let's get into the guest profile so that you just get to understand the topic of discussion that you're having today and the guests that we'll be having on board.
Good morning and welcome to Afya Clinic. Today we'll have a truly impactful show as we shine light on the incredible efforts being made to support and empower persons with disabilities in our communities. First up, we will be speaking to Josephine Mahinda, the project coordinator at the Disability Resource Information Center, DRIC. Josephine will share insights on how DRIC is addressing disability issues by providing timely and accurate information and fostering positive attitudes to create a more inclusive society where persons with disabilities can live fulfilled. Later, we'll be joined by Isaac Rigeto, the County Disability Services Officer for the National Council for Persons with Disabilities in Nakuru. Isaac will elaborate the Council's mission to champion the rights, rehabilitation, and equalization of opportunities for persons with disabilities. Stay tuned for those insightful conversations as we highlight the journey towards a barrier-free society.
Perfecto. So that is what we are talking about today, and our guest is already here with us. So I'll just repeat. If you have any question you'd want to ask in regards to the same, please feel free. We say that we are a family. Na hapa, especially that we're almost Christmas, surely. We're having a very easy conversation. So ask any question that you'd want regarding the same through our numbers, 0721105105 on WhatsApp, 23814, our SMS code, which is absolutely free. But also, we're live on Facebook on MBCI TV Facebook page. We're live on YouTube on MBCI TV official YouTube page. And just before we continue, I've remembered something. There's someone, nimeona ambaye ameuliza kuhusu the signal pale Nairobi. So if you're in Nairobi, you can always get us through Signet and Pang. So just rescan, alafu utatupata pale. So do not worry. All right? But also, if you're in any other part of the country, you'd like to follow these through MBCI TV, rescan your TV. We are on Pang, very clean. So utatupata pale. Engage with us. Sawa sawa. Karibu sana.
Asante, Rachel.
We are really glad to have you today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you look amazing.
Thank you. You look amazing too.
Asante.
The grace of God is sufficient.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You know, we agreed we'll be starting with greetings. So
Yes.
Really, to know how you're doing.
It's the African way.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm doing well.
Amazing.
I thank God for this far.
Amazing.
And also thank God for this opportunity to be here. Yes.
Amazing. Are you feeling the Christmas-ish feeling already?
The mood is not yet there, maybe because of the issues that we are going through as a country. But we trust in God and believe that all will be well. Yes.
Yeah, strong point. That's something we'll need to talk about. But because we are not talking about that today, today we are talking about people with disability. And I know someone would wonder, then why are we having you talking about people with disability? So please tell us about what you do, and then we'll get into the discussion.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel, and thank you, MBCI in general, for having us discuss this topic.
Yeah.
Because we get to realize that the things you know, we assume that others know.
Yep.
But the moment you get on a platform speaking about it, you realize there's so much ignorance about the same issues that you think everyone should be knowing. So as you said, my name is Josephine Mahinda. I am a professional counselor. I am a sociologist. And I work with the marginalized groups. Currently, I'm working for and with persons with disability at Disability Resource and Information Center. Our offices are based in Naivasha, but we serve in Nakuru County, and we are also privileged to have some activities in Narok County.
Okay.
So ours is a community initiative, which is geared towards responding to disability issues, you know, holistically, and more so offering timely and accurate information to the society, including persons with disability themselves. And this is in an endeavor to ensure that persons with disability live a fulfilled life, you know, a whole life, enjoying the gifts that God has given them. Because this is something that people maybe take for granted. But as you mentioned earlier, God has his own ways of compensating issues. When you have no leg, he has a way of compensating that with another gift. So this is a very passionate conversation to me, because I feel all of us should be united towards making our environment, our society inclusive for persons with disability.
That is amazing. That is really amazing. And you know, I've noted the first part that you say that you are a psychologist. So you get to understand how they think, you get to understand how people view them, because also there's a lot of stigma that surrounds people with disabilities, and I know we'll be talking about that in a very short while. But maybe to take you back, Kidogo, we have people who've done psychology, but they work with companies, organizations, but you decided to work with and for people with disabilities. How did you end up doing that? Because, let me explain for that, because it's not an easy task.
Yes.
It is not an easy, I know that for sure. It is not.
True.
Even for their caretakers, it's not easy. Why did you decide to do that?
I think, Rachel, to me, I normally say, mine is not just work. I term it as a calling. And anyone else who is serving, you know, the vulnerable community, talk of it, if you're serving the elderly, if you're serving children who are orphaned, if you're serving persons with disability, if you're serving people with terminal illnesses, it is not easy. And to me, I term that as a calling. So to me, I'm very passionate about just serving. That is what draws my satisfaction.
Amazing.
And the moment I work with persons with disability, not looking at anything, not the salary, not the gains, nothing, but the moment I change a life, I really get satisfied.
Oh, wow.
And that is where I drive my passion from. And I believe, as a Christian, it is not even my prayers that get me to where I am. It is the prayer of those lives that I've touched.
True.
So I thank God for that.
You're getting me very tempted to talk about something that you talked about here, about touching the lives of people in the, what is our purpose really for living. And to get into details to talk about Afya Clinic. So without diverting, let's go back. We've just said that there's a lot of stigma that surrounds people with disabilities, and you know that you have seen that. What would you say about it?
Now, for me, I normally say that the only disability is a bad attitude. That is the only disability.
Okay.
And it is the bad attitude that gets us to places where we stigmatize others.
Yeah.
And if only all of us would know that we are all candidates of disability.
Yeah.
Because the people you see out there with disability, not all of them were born with disability.
Yeah.
Because we have two categories of disability. There is the congenital, that is the born with, and we have the acquired disability, which any one of us can get.
Yeah.
If not in our younger ages, as we age, as we advance in age, old age also comes with, you know, various disabilities. So at one point in life, you might get yourself disabled. And that is why stigma is the biggest monster that has actually kept people where they are.
Yeah.
That is why when someone has a relative, a child with disability, they will tend to hide them. Why? It is because of the attitudes we have as a community.
Yeah.
The way we view it. And if I may bring you to some of the models of disability, one of the models, which is the first one, we call it the era of gods. Gods, the small g, not the God we serve.
Yeah.
And this era is where people believe disability is a curse, disability is a sin you committed, probably as a parent. Disability is something you never did or you did in a wrong way, and you are paying for your deeds.
Okay.
That is the era of gods. And so when we have that mentality, definitely we will stigmatize that person.
Yeah.
Because this is a person who is sinful. That is why they are the way they are.
Yeah.
Or their parents were sinful, or their grandparents, or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, what are you paying for?
Exactly, you are paying for your deeds, so we just keep you aside.
Right.
That is the era of gods. Then we come to the next model, which is the charity model. And the charity model is where there is this mentality that a person with disability is a person who requires to be helped. The moment you see a PWD, we call them PWDs in short, you see problems.
And I feel like that's the most common.
If they are coming towards you, you would even avoid them because they are coming to beg, right? That is the charity model. And that is why you see people using them even on the streets. I wheel them in the morning. They are seated somewhere with a bakuli. You put your 10 shillings. So we should ask ourselves, are we still in that era ourselves?
Yeah.
Then we go to the third model, which is called the medical model. You see a person with disability and assume that this person requires to be treated.
Yeah.
Disability is not a medical condition. It isn't.
Totally.
No, despite the fact that some of the PWDs require like continuous checkups, the therapies, and probably some of them are on lifetime medication. It is not a medical condition.
Yeah.
Some disabilities do not require any type of medication.
Yeah.
So we should just take it as it is. Not that you see them and you are like, can I help you? Do you require to go to hospital? No. And then we go to the fourth model, which we call the social model. And the social model here is where now people, pole have started accepting, oh yes, disability is among us, it is within us, it is with our people, and so we need to just bring them out. We bring them out, but at the same time as we bring them out, we don't engage them so much. You see? Like when you have two children, for example, in your house, one has disability, the other one has no disability. You tend to be treating this child without disability ordinarily. You see the way you would send a child, nilete maji, run, open the door, close the gate. This other one, despite them having the ability to do things, you tend to sympathize with them. Like this one, when others are doing this, even others are going out to play, and you tell them, weka hapa. You go with them, maybe watakuumiza. You see?
But is that not almost normal? Because I feel like that comes normal, especially for parents.
No, because that is, you know, the social model that we adopted. Let this child be. Let them do whatever they can. If others are climbing trees, like the way we say boys must be on the wall, they are everywhere. Let them climb. you know, if they can. If they have a limitation in that, definitely they won't.
Yeah.
But let them be. And treating even adults with disability like children, that is very wrong.
Yeah.
That social model is misplaced. So we should also get out of that and do it in the right way.
Yeah.
You bring them out, ensure you include them everywhere. Ensure that you mainstream them in the society.
Okay.
Let them do whatever everybody else is doing according to their ability. Of course, we know some of them have limited abilities, so just create an environment that is safe, an environment that is conducive for them to thrive.
Okay.
Then the fifth and last model, where we should be right now, is the human right model, where we need to treat every person with disability as a human being.
Yeah.
In some instances, we have treated them like animals, or even worse.
True.
You know? So when we adopt now the human right model, that is where Disability Resource Information Center comes in. That is where the other organizations and government entities come in.
Yeah.
Because here now we even adopt and deal with the law, where we want to talk about PWD's rights, privileges, and of course, there are no rights without responsibilities. What their responsibilities are. We want to see them included. We want to see MBCI or, you know, the entire organization also employing persons with disability. You know, we have acts that talk about this.
Okay.
Enforcement of the same, so that we have the inclusive society, as you said. We want to see children with disability in our schools, the regular schools, with the others, integrated.
Will that not be a bit hectic for them?
No. All we need to do, as I said, is create a conducive and enabling environment. Because that is what we lack. You go to our institutions, for example, some of them are not accessible.
True.
Take, for instance, this is a child on wheelchair. They are going to, which is the nearest school here? Kisulisuli Primary. Is Kisulisuli Primary accessible? Are the toilets accessible? Are they disability friendly? Can this child on wheelchair or crutches or has partial blindness access those toilets? That is all we need to do.
Okay. I see. You know, you've mentioned that, and I've remembered, I saw a school bus that had the ramp. You see the normal ramps?
Yes.
That really made me happy, that someone who's on a wheelchair would just go, and then the ramp inateremshwa, he climbs, and then the ramp goes up. That it was very easy for the child on the wheelchair. And I just thought to myself, this is what every school bus should look like.
Not a school bus, Rachel. That is
everywhere.
what our public transport should look like. Look at our buses, our public transport buses. Look at our matatus. For a person on wheelchair to board that matatu, you will have to carry them, put them on the matatu, fold their wheelchair, you know, have it somewhere on the carrier or the boot, you know. But basically, our transport system, because we need to uphold the dignity of persons with disability. And the dignity here even includes the way we handle them. If I'm a person with disability and the people carrying me to the bus are men, for example, I mean, that is where even GBV comes in. Because where do you hold me? How do you hold me? There are so many issues that we are not where we were, Rachel. We believe we are somewhere, but we still have a long, long way to go. Yes.
But you've started it well. We believe we are somewhere. Because I felt like we've done well so far. We are trying. As a nation, we are trying.
Yes, we are.
Now,
because like the first model I talked about, the era of gods, you find like in our country today, not so many people are into uchawi, Mungu amekasirika sana na yeye, that's why they are disabled, you know? No. At least we are coming out of that.
True.
And even on our streets, nowadays as you walk around, you don't see so many, you know, people with disability begging around. They are not there. And those who are there are very few and probably are not even from this country, I would say so.
Yes. And actually, those who are there, they are actually selling njugu karanga and stuff there. I love to see that. I love to see that. Now, you said that there's no rights without responsibilities. Privileges. There are no privileges without responsibilities. Now, this is where we go into this discussion about people with disabilities. What is their responsibility?
Yes, I said persons with disability, universally that is acceptable. Persons with disability, this is how we refer to them. Now, they have rights and privileges. But of course, there are no rights whatsoever without responsibilities. Right. And number one, the responsibility of this person with disability is to come out of their cocoon, come out of that comfort zone. Come out and tell us. For instance, we always say, if you want to assist a person with disability, ask. Don't just assume they require help.
Oh, okay.
Ask, how do I help you?
Okay.
Then they will tell you. If they acknowledge that you help them, ask them how. Then go ahead and do it. Okay. If they are somewhere hidden, will you even know they exist? So issue number one is them coming out of that self-stigma. Okay. There is stigma that is given by other people, and there is stigma that I give myself. Yeah. So the self-stigma, number one, come out of it. Okay. And this will go down to the parents, because remember, there are children who are born with disability. True. If this child is not brought forth by the parent, if they are not taken to school, for example, or a learning institution, or somewhere, even in church, if they are not brought, how will we know that this child exists? Yeah. So that is responsibility number one. Okay. Responsibility number two, they must do what they are required to do. As much as we say, you see jobs advertised, for example, and we say persons with disability are encouraged to apply. Yeah. Now, do you just apply the job because you are a person with disability? Of course, you must have the requisite qualifications. Yeah. If we are asking for teachers, you must be a trained teacher, even as a PWD. And I keep speaking to PWDs themselves and tell them, disability is not a qualification for any job, you know? So it is, yes, I have disability, but I have these qualifications. Yeah. That is when now you're given a platform to bring forth your case. Okay. So it is your responsibility to ensure. And it is even more challenging to them, like the youths we deal with disability. I tell them, if there is anything you can shine in, is academics. True. Because this other person who has no disability, maybe they can go, you know, running, they can go kazi ya mjengo, inua mawe, where you are on wheelchair. Can you go kazi ya mjengo? Upande juu ya nyumba. So the best you can do for yourself, prove yourself. Yeah. Work very smart, so that when others are getting grade C's and whatnot, get a A, if possible, get an A+. Yeah. So that we see you shine, and that is the only way you can be ahead of others. Yeah. So they have responsibilities. If it is those ones in business, engage in something. Yeah. Let now the government come, because we even have business waiver permits. But you cannot be given a business waiver in your house. You must have a business. You must have a business for you to enjoy that business waiver. You can import a car duty free as a person with disability. I actually saw that. Yes. Yeah. But of course, the government will not buy the car for you. Yeah, you have to buy. Yeah, you'll buy the car, which is duty free. Yeah. And apparently, you know, our vehicles, the vehicles we buy in this country, are made more expensive by the duty we pay. Yep. Meaning, if the duty is waived, you'll buy the car very cheaply. Yeah. You see? So all those privileges come, yes. They are entitled for tax exemption. What's the tax part? Yes, the tax exemption. Yeah. You are working, Rachel, you are paid a salary which is taxed. If you are a person with disability, you are entitled to tax exemption. But of course, you must apply. It does not come automatically. Yeah. Ati mimi ni mlemavu, so just give me tax. You have a responsibility. You must register as a person with disability. Yeah. You apply for the tax exemption. There are some, you know, paperwork that you need to prove that surely you are a person with disability. Yeah. This is where you are working. This is your salary, because also the salary, you know, the levels also differ. Yeah. right?
Yeah.
That is a responsibility of a person with disability.
With disability, okay.
They don't come automatically.
Yeah. What I'm getting from what you're just saying is that it doesn't just come from nowhere. It comes from a point of disability doesn't mean that now I can't do anything. It means that as much as I'm disabled, I'm a normal human being. I can work, I can have a family, I can do what I'm supposed to do.
Yes.
And then now life goes on normally.
True.
I love that.
True.
Now we'll be getting to see some vox pops just to hear from other people what they think about the people with disabilities, and then just to hear about what they're supposed to be doing, what is their responsibility. I'm actually very eager to hear from the people as well, because as you said, some of the things that we think are normal is not common knowledge to everyone.
True.
So we'd love to know, is this something that the public really know about, or we need to do better with the sensitization? You know. So let's get the vox pops so that we'll hear about that, and then as we come back, we'll be coming back to wind up, because we'll be having another session later, which will be very interesting as well. We've done an amazing introduction here, and then I will be ending up with something else. So do not miss out. Sawa sawa. But for now, let's get the vox pops.
Sisi kwanza, sisi ambao tunaona sisi si walemavu ndio tunachangia ile stigma ya wale walemavu, kwa sababu ukiona kama huyu mtu ni mlemavu unamwona kando, unaona akiwa kitu tofauti. Tuseme for example, hata kama buildings hizi kubwa kubwa, unakuta penye building kubwa kubwa ziko hakuna place imetengewa maybe someone who is crippled who can anaweza fika aje kwa access nini system. Na walemavu wanaweza fanya kazi mingi, kama ni ulemavu ya maybe kama ni ya kutembea anaweza fanywa kama ni biashara. Ama kama kazi ya mkono, kama hata kushona nguo ama kushona viatu ama kufanya nini, na anatambulika. Na pia maybe kama kunakuwa na ile maybe kama mshahara kama yani wachukulie watu wajulikane walemavu Kenya, walemavu kama hii kaunti ya Nakuru ni wangapi, mwisho wa mwezi wanakuwa na yao nyembamba, hata kama nikavocha ka shilingi 3,000 wanasaidika, wanajulikana huyu ni mlemavu, wanafaa kusaidiwa, unaona. Alafu sasa kuna wale walemavu wengine ambao watu wengine wanafanya nao biashara. Kama unakuta mtu amewekwa pale kwa street, analetwa asubuhi, anakuja kuchukuliwa jioni, nani alimlete? Si ni mtu mwenye iko fit, anakuja kutumia huyo mtu kama huyo. Biashara inafaa gawa iangalie story kama hizo sana. Cartel kama hizo kulete watu, unakuja unafanya nao kazi, na wewe ni mtu unaweza fanya kazi kwanza kutumia yule mtu. Baada umempower yeye. So the most important thing, we empower them and we make them tunaonyesha hata nyinyi kama watu wengi, isipokuwa ni hiyo disability kidogo, hata wewe ni ule mtu kama ule mtu wa kawaida, ukwe na mahitaji yako ya kawaida kujieleza kimaisha.
Walemavu wako tofauti, na kuna wengine wako na wanaweza jifanyia kazi. Kwa hivyo tunaweza omba hata kama ni serikali waweze kuwa support, wakipatio kama ni kitu kama ni pesa, wanafuato, wakishafuato wanaonekana sasa wanachukuliwa hatua, kama hatafanya kazi ya kuto katika mtaani, sasa itakuwa ni shida juu kuna wengine wanafanya kama hii mambo ni biashara, na ni vibaya sana. Na saa nyingine ulemavu yenye ako nayo ni kitu yenye anaweza fanya kazi au akue na kakosi yake. Sasa hapo anaweza saidika sana.
Tukiangalia sana sisi in human nature tumetenga sana walemavu. And these people should be given first priority in Africa, in Kenya and in the whole world. Wapewe kazi yeyote. Mlemavu pia kuna away huwa wanakuwa educated. Na the more umeeducate mlemavu, the more unafaa kuwa na chances ya kazi. Sasa tusineglect walemavu sana. Tuwatenge hata nafasi pale hata kwa ofisi wapate kazi zao. Na pia tunafaa kuwajenga sana kimaisha ili wapate venye wanaweza faidika. Kuwatafutia hata biashara hivi. Those people are capable of doing businesses.
Kama ana mguu, kuna walemavu aina nyingi. Kuna mwenye ana mguu, na kuna mkono. Kwa maoni yangu anaweza fanya kazi za mkono hizi kama ya kushona viatu, ama anaweza fanya biashara kama hata ya duka, as long as pale amereziwa kiti, anaweza serve customers kwa ako na mkono.
All right, so that is it. And I love what most of the people have said, that people with disabilities wanafaa wafanye kitu. They don't just see it because you're disabled. If you're a parent and you have a disabled kid, wasomeshe. Kuna mmoja hapa amesema that study, somesha watoto, because when they're well educated, they're able to get jobs, which will now work for them. Na vile umesema, if there's someone who's disabled, please do well, please work smart, please work smart. It will work for you, for your benefits. Very important. Now, we're talking about persons with disabilities, and we are having an amazing discussion right here. And we've just gotten the Vox Pops, and we'd love to hear from you as well. We'll be reading some of the feedbacks ambazo zinakuja, and we've said that even as we continue talking about persons with disabilities, it's very important to realize that just because you're disabled, it doesn't mean that you're kuna this saying that says disability is not inability. Yes, disability is not inability. So it is for you to know that just because you are disabled, there's so much you can do. You can live a normal life. Sawa sawa. So we're having Josephine. She is a counselor, a psychologist. That's the best part. I love, because I've realized there's a way psychologists are able to just read in between the line. Ile place yenye hatuoni, it's like you guys will tell us about it, because it's very important. Now, we'll be getting to just talk about if there's someone who's seated at home, they're having a kid or a relative or a friend who's disabled, and they'd love to join you. We'll be getting that detail if there are any numbers, and also reminding us of your location. But before that, I'd just love to know from you, what's the role of the community in the lives of these disabled people?
Thank you, Rachel. And I also thank you for the voice pops that you just played.
Yeah.
But that tells us that we still have some work to do.
Yep.
Lots in terms of advocacy, in terms of, awareness creation on what persons with disability should do or should not do, or the role of the community. Because when you hear somebody saying, tusiwatenge sana, meaning tuwatenge kidogo.
I mean, yeah.
And as I said, our role, even as an organization where I come from, is ensuring that they live a fulfilled life.
Yep.
You see, the ordinary life that you and me live, despite the limitation that person could be having, they should just live a full life.
Yeah.
And that means hakuna cha kidogo ama sana. It is, let us bring them forth. Let us give them the enabling environment, as I mentioned. So that advocacy, if everybody embraces it, would not have people speaking of apewe kusaidiwa, apewe pesa, we will empower them, and they'll look for the money themselves. Do you go asking for money? You look for work. Because you have been empowered. So that is what we want happening to our persons with disability. And we still have a big role to play within the community, the society. The society here begins with the family of the person with disability. As I said, if it is a child born with disability, there are some disabilities that are correctable, Rachel. But because of just negligence, maybe ignorance, lack of information, you find now this person gets to a more complicated life or with further disability because what they had at the word go was not addressed. We also need to create awareness on disabilities that are preventable. You see, like children who are born with various disabilities, kina spinal bifida, kina autism, kina cerebral palsy. Yes, some disabilities have no known cause, but some disabilities can be prevented. Maybe that is a discussion of another day where we can break down now the types of disabilities, some possible causes of the disability, and how we can prevent the same. So working with mothers, even right from the prenatal to antenatal, we can prevent some of the disabilities. You know, even today, there are women who don't go to clinics when they are pregnant, meaning they are risking the child they are carrying. There are some minerals that you are supposed to be taking during pregnancy and all this. So if you don't, Some disabilities are just brought by lack of some, you know, benefits and minerals that we require in our bodies.
Yeah.
That is the role of the community.
Okay.
If everybody is informed about disability, we'll be able to advise and talk to each other about it. We prevent some of the disabilities, and those that are already with us, we know how to manage them.
Okay.
We create that enabling environment where persons with disability can be able to thrive.
Okay.
We give them spaces for businesses.
Yeah.
We give them spaces in our schools. We give them spaces in our churches. We give them roles and responsibilities that they can be able to play. And that is our role as a community.
Okay.
So sensitization, awareness needs to continue everywhere.
Okay.
In organizations, in societies, in chiefs barazas, in our churches.
Yeah.
Let us continue advocating for the rights of persons with disability and awareness that persons with disability are among us and they are part of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not a one-time thing.
No, it isn't.
Inatakana iendelee.
Continuously.
Yeah.
And people should be champions wherever they are.
True.
If you know about it, Rachel, talk about it wherever you are.
Yeah.
And that is why we exist as Disability Resource Information Center. Because even those who require to know much about disability, just walk in. We'll give you the information that you require.
Okay.
We go to organizations when invited. We go to churches. We go to, you know, public meetings and create awareness on disability. As we mark the calendar days, because we have so many calendar days in a year on disability matters. You see there is the White Cane Safety Day, we have the Autism Day, we have the Cerebral Palsy Day, you know, Wheelchair Day, all these days. As we mark them, we create awareness to the public.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we've heard on the Vox Pops, one of the people saying that kuna the people with disabilities ambao hupelekwa kwa streets alafu anakujiwa jioni. And aka mention mwenye anawapeleka ni mtu mwenye ako sawa fully, but ana feel let me just, you know, it's also
you use them as kitega uchumi.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
What would you say about that?
That is a human right violation. It is actually a human right violation. Because where is the dignity of this person you have kept on the streets the entire day? I look at some of them and it is very pathetic because imagine like the way the sun is shining right now. You kept on the sun the entire day in the name of looking for money. You know, it is a human right violation. And as I said, and probably my colleague who will be coming in after me will highlight much on the Disability Act of 2013, which is under review right now.
Okay.
Because some of those violations, the Disability Act is very good. It stipulates so many things that are don'ts and do's.
Okay.
But apparently, initially, it didn't have like the punitive measures.
Okay.
If you didn't do this or did this, what will happen to you? And that is why it is under review currently.
Okay.
So that such acts where you violate someone's right, some of the people on the streets are actually children.
Yep.
And you know we have the Children's Act. Where is the safety of this child?
Yeah.
Where is the dignity of this child? Where is the privacy of this person with disability?
Yeah.
Why are we putting them on the streets? Why don't you beg yourself? You know?
Yeah, because you need the money.
That one, I'll clearly say it is a human right violation, which should be curbed.
Okay.
And we can only do that if we Kenyans also stop giving. When you see that person on the street with a bakuli, I mean, giving them your 20 shillings or even 100, unajua hujasaidia huyo mtu. You haven't.
Yeah.
If you want to help them even better, if it is a child, ask if they can go to school. Pay their school fees. Let them be in school.
Yeah, that's way better.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, for someone who's at home watching and they have kids or friends, people with disability, they'd like to reach you.
Yes.
Please give us your location and a number that they can reach you through.
Thank you so much. For those watching, thank you so much for watching, and also thank you for everyone who has played a role.
Yeah.
It is the small doable actions, the small steps that we take that actually make us get to where we want to be.
Yeah.
And the change that I want to see will only begin with me. So just do that small thing.
Yeah.
When you want to reach us, Disability Resource Information Center, or famous known as DRIC.
Yeah.
I said our offices are located in Naivasha, but we are not limited to Naivasha. We are at the sub-county hospital, the Naivasha Level 5 hospital.
Okay.
When coming from town, the first gate, it is even written DRIC.
Okay.
Get inside there, you'll get help, you'll get information of what you require, because there are so many things that we deal with. One, identifying and knowing that persons with disability are there, where they exist, probably what their needs are. There are issues like rehabilitation in terms of enabling them with mobility assistive devices. We also do hearing testing for those with hearing loss and deafness, because for you to be registered, you also need to prove that actually you're not hearing. That cannot be just done by observation of the eyes. You must be assessed, you must be screened. So you can walk in there, we have the hearing testing, it can be done. Partnering with our county, because we are the hospital, occupational therapy for children with disability is also done at our center. So all children with disability are brought for therapy, because it is recommended that if a child is born with disability and they require therapy, they do that for their first 10 years in life. So that is where it happens. When you get to that center, you reach us there. You can also reach us through our numbers. That is 0723 106 339.
0723
106 339.
All right.
Or even 0714 188 691.
All right.
Yes, you can ask any question. You can ask for guidance, because this is what we do. You come to our center, you'll find someone who will assist you and guide you appropriately. We are not a one-stop shop where you get every help, but we can guide and lead you or where you want to go.
All right.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Josephine, for coming. We've had a good discussion, and I know that imekuwa very eye-opening to all of us. Sasa hatujamaliza bado. We will be getting the healthy living segment, ambayo ni people with disabilities, done by the one and only Sylvia Wanja. And then after that, we'll be going for a very short break. As we come back, we'll be coming with Isaac. We'll be coming back with Isaac. So Isaac is from DRIP.
He is from the National Council for Persons with Disabilities.
Yes. And he is, we'll explain more about that, but he is blind, but not unable. Tulisema disability is not inability. He knows what exactly he wants. He's doing it right.
And we say, now that he's blind, does not mean he does not have a vision. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a very short break. We'll be coming right back. So do not miss out. It's going to be really, really amazing. Let's get healthy living as we go for a very short break.
Hello and welcome to Healthy Living. My name is Sylvia Wanjar. Today we are going to discuss about the myths and misconceptions about people with disabilities. Misconceptions about disabilities often stem from lack of understanding, cultural beliefs, or stereotypes. Dispelling these myths is critical for fostering inclusion, equity, and respect for individuals with disabilities. Here are some common myths about disabilities and the facts to counter them. Number 1 myth: people with disabilities are less capable or less intelligent. Fact: disability does not equate to a lack of intelligence or capability. People with disabilities possess diverse talents, skills, and abilities that allow them to excel in various fields. Number 2 myth: disabilities are always visible. Fact: not all disabilities are visible. Conditions like mental health disorders, chronic illnesses, and learning disabilities are often invisible but still impactful. Number 3 myth: disabilities define a person's entire identity. Fact: a disability is just one aspect of a person's identity. People with disabilities have diverse personalities, interests, and aspirations like everyone else. Number 4 myth: people with disabilities cannot work or be successful. Fact: With reasonable accommodations, people with disabilities can excel in their careers and achieve significant professional success. Many are innovators, leaders, and contributors in various industries. Myth number 5. Children with disabilities cannot learn like other children. Fact. Children with disabilities can learn and succeed when provided with the appropriate educational resources, individualized attention, and a supportive environment. Myth number 6. People with disabilities are inspirational just for living their lives. Fact. While people with disabilities can be inspiring, they do not exist to motivate others. Viewing them as constant sources of inspiration can be patronizing. Myth number 7. People with disabilities prefer to be segregated in schools, workspaces, or society. Fact. Most individuals with disabilities prefer inclusive environments where they can actively participate and interact with others. Myth number 8. All disabilities are permanent. Fact. Some disabilities, such as temporary injuries or certain medical conditions, are temporary and can improve or resolve over time. Myth number 9. Disabilities are always caused by accidents or genetics. Facts. While some disabilities result from accident or genetic conditions, others may be caused by illnesses, aging, or environmental factors. Myth number 10. People with disabilities are unhappy with their lives. Fact. People with disabilities experience a full range of emotions like everyone else and can lead happy, fulfilling lives. In conclusion, challenging these myths helps combat stigma and foster a more inclusive society. Education, empathy, and open-mindedness are key to ensuring respect and equal opportunities for people with disabilities.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Wow! Teens, teens, teens. This is your invitation to a life-changing experience, Teens Revival Camp 2024, from the 9th to the 14th of December. This year, we are inspired by 2 Chronicles chapter 34, verse 3, that says, "While he was yet young, 16, he began to seek after and yearn for the God of David, his father." Our theme, Teenager Ablaze for Jesus. Teens, now is our time to seek God while we are young. Parents, this is the perfect opportunity to invest in your teen's spiritual journey. Our camp is hosted by Apostle John Kimani William and Reverend Naomi Kimani.
Once you surrender to God, God is going to help you to understand the potential that he has deposited in you.
This camp will feature powerful teachings, vibrant worship, exciting activities, and life-changing encounters with God. Registration is just 1,200 shillings. Remember to pack your personal effects to make your camp experience comfortable. This generation is our responsibility. Let's fan the flame together. Mark the date, December 9th to 14th. Teenager Ablaze for Jesus. Seeking God, transforming lives. For more information, reach us via 0700 885383.
Those in search for accommodation in Nairobi City need not to worry. Hemmark Suites Hotel Nairobi, located along Kikorok Road off Koja Roundabout, offers one of the best accommodation from standard rooms, twin, deluxe rooms, all the way to executive. Not forgetting our conference and boardroom facilities that have the best ambience. With a good view of Nairobi City from our restaurant on 8th floor, you can enjoy our delicacies prepared by experienced chefs. For you who would like to connect with Almighty, we have a chapel ready for you. Security is a priority to us, and that's why we have measures in place to ensure that you enjoy your stay, and for ease of access to the hotel, we have a dedicated high-speed lift. Find Hemmark Suites Hotel Nairobi at Hemmark Plaza from 4th floor or call us on 0748 618 009 or visit www.hemmaxsuits.com. Hemmax Suites Nairobi, epitome of luxury and class.
Nataka nikamilishie methali haba na haba
hujaza kibaba.
Haidhuru
haidhuruki.
Haidhuru
haidhuruki.
Isaka alikuwa brother ya nani kwa Biblia? Isaka alikuwa brother ya mtu mwenye unamjua sana kwa Biblia. Isaka alikuwa brother ya nani?
Isaac alikuwa brother ya Kaini.
Alikuwa brother ya nani?
Kaini.
Oh my God! Susi works in a shoe shop. Rudia mara 3 mbio mbio.
Susi works in a shoe shop. Susan shop works in a Susan shop. Susi works in a shine shop. Shine shop works in the Susi shine shop.
Are you struggling with a subject in high school, or are you looking for opportunities for revision or instances where you're required to get ahead in syllabus? Do you have a student who was absent from school due to sickness, distress, or was immature, or any other situation requiring reteaching? Well, look no further than the ABZ Edu, an e-learning platform that is here for you. In this platform, you will find whole topics from Form 1 to Form 4 in video, audio, and text. This content is recorded and can be viewed repeatedly until properly understood. This is a program with the objective to complement learner experience by bridging learning gaps and challenges. This digital platform is designed to deliver educational content and an enriching learning experience targeting secondary school students. It is a subscription service from Rodacam Education Limited. One can register as an individual or in groups. Usikue idle this holiday. Visit our website at www.abzedu.com for more information. For inquiries, contact 0727 080 638 or 0711 762 521. ABZ, the gateway to your child's future.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Perfect. It's now 7 minutes past 9. It's a good time. We've already had an amazing discussion with Josephine. We've talked about people with disability. We've talked about what they are supposed to do. We've said that there are no rights without responsibilities. So if you're seated there, you're someone with a disability, you need to know that there are no rights without responsibilities. But then we've talked about the responsibilities. We'll talk about the rights as well, because it's very, very important. And I know that we've touched on that already. Now, we've had the healthy living prepared by Sylvia Wanja, an amazing segment that has talked about the myths and the misconceptions. I know we'll be getting the mythbusters as we continue, but now we are back for the second part of this discussion. It's a really intriguing, really amazing, educating discussion that you do not want to miss. Okay, so this is just to remind you, we are live on Facebook on MBCI TV Facebook page. We're live on YouTube on MBCI TV official YouTube page. Our numbers are very open, 23814, our SMS code, which is absolutely free. And of course, our WhatsApp number is very open as well. That is 0721 105 105. And then on all social media pages, you'll be able to get me there as Kahogo, and I'll be getting you feedback loud and clear. All right, now we are having Isaac Rugeto. Now, I'd love for you to just understand who Isaac is and what he does. Now, we've prepared something for you. That is the guest intro. You'll be listening to it, alafu utajua yeye ni nani, and then we'll be getting into the discussion. We've talked about people with disability, and you say that being disabled doesn't mean that you do not know who you are or what you're supposed to do. Yeah, so we're having Isaac. He is blind, but there's something that Josephine has said that is very, very important. That it's a banter they have. They say that the fact that he's blind doesn't mean that he doesn't have a vision. So what's stopping you at home? What is stopping you? Yeah, but then let's get into the guest intro so that you'll just get to understand what exactly he does, and then we'll be getting into the discussion. Guest intro.
Good morning and welcome to Afya Clinic. Today we'll have a truly impactful show as we shine light on the incredible efforts being made to support and empower persons with disabilities in our communities. First up, we will be speaking to Josephine Mahinda, the project coordinator at the Disability Resource Information Center, DRIC. Josephine will share insights on how DRIC is addressing disability issues by providing timely and accurate information and fostering positive attitudes to create a more inclusive society where persons with disabilities can live fulfilled. Later, we'll be joined by Isaac Rigeto, the County Disability Services Officer for the National Council for Persons with Disabilities in Nakuru. Isaac will elaborate the Council's mission to champion the rights, rehabilitation, and equalization of opportunities for persons with disabilities. Stay tuned for those insightful conversations as we highlight the journey towards a barrier-free society.
Perfect. Of course, we've had Josephine, we've had an amazing discussion, and now we are having Isaac. You've gotten to understand who Isaac is, and now we'll be getting into this amazing discussion. Isaac, karibu sana. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're really, really glad to have this particular discussion.
Glad to be here.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Have you been?
I'm good, I'm good. We've
Perfect.
been doing well. All has been nice. This is a busy December,
Yeah.
but we are here.
Yeah.
We thank God.
Amazing.
Yes.
Now, we've had an amazing discussion right here with Josephine.
Yes.
We've talked about people with disability. We've mentioned that there are disabilities that are curable or rather preventable. And I know that we'll be having that discussion another time to yongele vizuri.
Yes.
But now we're here to talk about now the people with disability. What really are they supposed to do and all that? But let's start with, you blind?
Yes, yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes.
And so how did you get yourself there? Were you born like that? Or did it just happen with time?
It did just happen.
Okay.
It did just happen. When I don't have my lenses on, I look like this.
Okay.
For the viewers, my eyes sight got lost in 1989. I was about 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. I put this on just to protect my eyes because they are a little bit sensitive from the winds and the insensitive environment. People pierce you around, people push you around, so this protect a little bit of my eyes.
Okay.
But I'm okay.
Okay.
So for my bit, Rachel, I was born okay. And then at some stage, one smart Saturday, I discovered I'm not seeing. Just
like
one
that?
Saturday in the morning.
What?
I just discovered that the sun is going yellow-orange, that evening sunset. You see? I was asking my colleagues, what is happening? We've not just had porridge, and I'm seeing it's like in the evening.
Yeah.
So I didn't have pains. It just dimmed off.
Okay.
Slowly, I went through 5 operations at Kikuyu. Those days it was only Kikuyu. There's Kikuyu eye units.
Yeah.
We visited there. We tried to have the operations from the mission doctors who were there. Then that was in 1986 through 1990.
Okay.
They were not successful. All the treatments, all the diagnostics that were done. It was so optimistic that I would regain my sight.
Yeah.
But it didn't come back. But I wasn't sick. It just disappeared. Tried everything. In fact, everything, everything in the African way. The doctors, the African doctors, the magicians, they do you this, they do you that, you're told this, you sell this. Even, in the Bible, people spent money. We spent money for the treatment. It didn't work through.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you say that for around 10 years, ulikuwa unaona tu vizuri.
Niliona vizuri. Niliona masura. Niliona colors kidogo black, white.
Yeah.
Those were those days. Yeah.
So how did you now, how do you have it?
Yes.
How, after you've you've been able to live a certain life and then now you have to adjust to a different life, it's usually a bit tricky. So how are you able to go about that?
That was nice for me. I thank God I lost my sight at an early age. You know, when you acquire disability at a tender age, the adaptation is much faster and easier.
Okay.
It's like teaching a young boy tricks for life.
Okay.
It's much easier.
Okay.
But when maybe you are a little bit older, if you lose your sight or you lose your limbs and your ears at an adult age, it becomes a little bit with its own challenges.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
for me it was easier because I hadn't known so much. So the world changed when I was still a small boy.
Yeah.
So I got it nice. The orientation and mobility was so swift. I learned that way. It was easier for me.
Okay.
Yes,
Works
it was
well,
easier.
works well. Now, while we were here with Josephine, there's something she mentioned,
Yes.
and it was very, very interesting.
Right.
That is it a banter you guys have that the fact that you're blind doesn't mean you don't have a vision. You know, we have so many people
Yes.
who are disabled, or rather, however people like to term it, that's abled differently.
Yes.
But then they feel because they're disabled, they can't do anything. And now they sit and they want to be helped.
Sure.
What would you say about that?
That is a notion. It is an old notion where people thought, you know, when I was, there's an issue we were addressing at another platform, and we're talking about the levels of the prevalence of disabilities.
Yeah.
We have, the trends have really generated. We have changes taken place. So it depends where the level where that person is. If you'll allow me, you see, like we are talking about where disability started.
Yeah.
Where people think disabilities as a cause of God cursing you, you've sinned, so it's a curse. Or some believe it's a curse from your ancestors, or tradition and superstitions, taboos, those ones. You remember them? That's the era of gods.
Yeah.
Rachel, the era of, if you are a person with disability who is still at the era of gods, you will still be getting to magicians treating you.
Yeah.
You'll still be getting to places where you are still going to repent that you are a sinner and you are cursed.
Yeah.
That's the era of God.
Right.
Then the other eras that were there, including the era of charity, where people think now disability is a person who is supposed to be helped in handouts.
Yeah.
They are there to be beggars in the streets.
Right.
If you are still living at that era, you go to the streets one morning, you find people are still begging in the streets.
Yep.
That's the era of gods.
Yeah.
Then the socialization, we are now talking about the movement to the human rights, where we are now, people have shifted the focus to disability as a human rights issue. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you've talked about people begging in the streets, and I know that's a whole discussion there.
Yes.
But then, as much as there are rights for people with disabilities, that whenever they can do something, they have the rights to actually get what they need, right?
Yes.
But just to elaborate on that, what would you say are the rights of people with disabilities?
Human rights, there are no rights for persons with disabilities. There are rights for human beings. If it's a child we begin by saying, if it's a child, they have the rights for the children.
Okay.
And we are talking about the rights of the child and then the rights of a child with a disability. So where do we begin from? We begin from the common rights,
Okay.
where everybody has their rights. If I'm supposed to enjoy the rights to life. You equally, you're supposed to enjoy that.
Yeah.
So there are no seclusions on this, but we are saying the government of Kenya, having adopted the CRPD, and the Kenyan chapter then talks about addressing the issues of disability and inclusivity, which are now enshrined in the Disability Act.
Okay.
But we begin by saying human rights are human rights.
Yeah.
And then we now go to the privileges which persons with disabilities have. Because we are saying commonly they are human rights, but there are privileges for this nation where persons with disabilities now have privileges to enjoy.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to differentiate the rights and the privileges. If the right for marriage, is it for me? It's for everybody.
It's for everyone.
But now when we are talking about a privilege now, to ensure that we institutionalize the aspect of rights to life, rights to marriage, right to own property, then that now becomes the privilege we are talking about. There are privileges that we have enshrined in the Disability Act. We will be talking about it. But for the rights, let's first of all understand that rights are common. There are no rights for persons with disabilities alone. They are all human rights. And that's why the CRPD says, we're talking about children, let's talk about the rights of children for all. Then now we talk about the privileges, which now our nation has taken up.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go to the privileges. We can start with the children. So what are the privileges for the children, persons with disability?
There are various privileges that people with disability. In fact, Rachel, let me begin by saying that disability is a club. And all of us are potential candidates. Every second, every minute, people are graduating. Last evening, along where I stay, a motorist and a motorbike get on a head-on collision, and the motorist is injured. They join my club. You move up your stairs here, Rachel, one fine morning, you step off. Temporarily, you could have that disability. So we're talking about temporal disabilities and permanent disabilities. You know, sometimes you in your family and you slip off stairs and you injure your feet, you'll be told maybe you'll be using crutches for like 6 months. You're having a temporal disability. It becomes permanent now when it is irreversible. So when we are talking about now the privileges, we have the Disability Act, which was put in place in the year 2003. The number 14, Disability Act, where all rights and privileges of persons with disabilities are now domesticated. And then in 2004, the National Council was established in November 2004. Now, as a body, a state agency that is supposed to take care all persons, to take care of the needs and the privileges and the rights of persons with disabilities. So to begin with, maybe on the privileges, we are talking about education. You know, first of all, we have the right of education for all. And then now specifically, how do we now, because these are marginalized groups, now how do we ensure that we bring them on board? Because otherwise they will be left out, totally left out. So we put in place programs to ensure that children with disabilities go to school. We begin by, first of all, the lobby part of it, the advocacy part of it, community sensitization. Those are what we do. Then we are talking about now enhancing that part of maybe their school fees, education support. We have bursaries. We have scholarships in our programs. Currently, if we're talking about Nakuru alone, we're talking about special primaries that are in Nakuru, over 10 special primaries that are in Nakuru. We have children we are paying school fees for. Why are we doing that? It's a privilege. It's not a right for them to receive that, but it's a privilege that the government is putting for them so that they can be not be left out. We're talking about scholarships from Form 1 to Form 4. We're still ensuring that they go to school. So we have various programs on education support for parents with disabilities, where you have a parent who is having a disability and their children are not having a disability. So economically they struggle. So we come in and try to chip in a little bit, give them a support for education. And then we have children with disabilities purely themselves also benefit. That's a program that we have for those children. We have, we have like say, for example, during examination, Rachel, a child with disabilities are given more time to sit for the exam. Not as a right, it's a privilege. So we are saying when they go to school, and maybe they have a weaker limb, they need 30 minutes or 1 hour more. So NEC ensures that that is enforced as a privilege to ensure that that child competes with the others on an equal ground. We're talking about equality and equity. So we have equal opportunities, and then we want now to fight for equity. That's the balance we want to create. I don't know whether you want me to proceed with the privileges.
Yes. Now we'll be talking about the privileges now for the people, because now I'd love to understand where we talk about the persons with disabilities, probably parents, and we see that you are supposed to also work, get a form of income as much as you have the privileges, like tax. I know we'll be talking about that, the exemptions. It means that you have to be working. So how do you go about that?
We encourage persons with disabilities to understand that disability is just a human diversity. It's the beauty of life. Life without people being short or tall or slim or plump or whatever complexion they are, Rachel, would be a boring life.
True.
You would imagine all people are just chocolates. The whole world is chocolate. We want dark people. We want short and plump and like that. Different hairstyles. There's a beauty of life.
True.
So when we have the safari ants and the elephants, that's the beauty of the wildlife. So the beauty of human life is having persons with various challenges, difficult and struggling over life. That's where as a nation we want to go to. Economically, where persons with disabilities are encouraged to ensure that they contribute to the economical development of their community and their nation, so that they have a decent life. We as a nation are embracing the aspect of equality and human equality, talking about inclusivity even in jobs and even in vocational trainings. So we encourage persons with disabilities not to wait to be supported alone, but they have to come out so that we meet them at the point of the need. We're not talking about them waiting for us at the houses. Let them come out. So along the road, the nation meets them. So we are talking about persons, we encourage them to go to vocational trainings. Those who cannot go very far in education, because there are different types of disability. Some might not acquire the white-collar jobs. Some will be left at the level of the vocational trainings. The TVETs, the NITA beat, they are all over these days, Rachel. So when they have that skill, we will meet them at that point of acquiring the skill by supporting them to have the toolkits. We give them toolkits as a privilege. And then we give them a little startup capital. So if you are a tailor, we give you a machine, and then we give you a 1 month or 2 month startup capital for maybe rental and a few accessories here and there. Honestly, what else do you need? You've been cushioned up. And then we're talking about those who are able to go now to school, get career trainings. We have a program we talk about FUZU, which is a program where we try to we place people into various jobs. There are various programs state agencies and non-state agencies are putting in place to ensure that persons with disabilities are not left out in the employment sectors. So we have what we call job placement, and you are aware of the affirmative action, where progressively every sect is supposed to get to the level of 5% employment. So like for Nakuru, we are talking about 1.1% employment of persons with disabilities. A very low number. So, but we are lobbying and to ensure that the 5% is realized. You see, that's a provision in the Constitution. It's a provision in the legal frameworks that we do have, so that these people are not left out in the employment sectors.
Amazing.
But you realize that, of course, we can't miss out a few discriminations that we want to work against. We have people who still want to look at you and ask you, really, can you do it? Give us the opportunity. Rachel, give us the opportunity. We'll realize we can do more than most people who have the ability. When I got posted to my first employment, I was a teacher. So my head teacher, my principal then, asked me a simple question. In this institution, we don't have blind people. How are you going to teach? Who are you going to teach? And how? I told, that time I was still fresh. I didn't know so much. So I stammered here and there. I told them, and I will. I'm a trained teacher from Kenyatta University. So they gave me an opportunity. It was by the end of the 5 years, the teacher did not want to release me.
Oh, wow.
Because it was such a good thing to have worked with them for the first time. And I just to ensure I put all my effort to prove the person wrong. So I did that. And my second posting, my teacher tiptoed to class to find out, is this teacher able to deliver?
Oh, wow.
So they tiptoed into my class one evening, and with my senses, mi ni nani?
Yeah, ukajua.
Nikamwambia mwalimu karibu kwa hii darasa. So the teacher from that day, okay, she sat through. Yeah. She was a nice one. In fact, when I was getting my new appointment with the National Council, she gifted me and told me, really, we don't want to lose you. Si uwache tu. I have to go out.
Yeah.
And Rachel, you know me, for personal disabilities, when we sit, we sit.
Yeah.
Lakini sasa kama uko na macho yako na mguu yako na mikono yako uko kila mahali.
Yeah, true.
Unajua mimi kuanza kuzunguka hizi hapa na pale ni ngumu.
True.
Lakini hao wengine utapata ako huko stage.
Yeah.
Lunch amekimbia sijui ako wapi, ako late by 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Mi najua hiyo challenge ya kwenda kutembea mpaka town kurudi kwa ofisi tanisumbua. So I stay up and order for my lunch.
Yeah.
So who is more effective?
Of course, because you're sitting there,
I'm
you are more
there.
effective.
All my day I sit and work.
Yeah, you know, so, that reminds me of I'm sure it's a new hotel in town.
Yes.
And some people, I'm sure wameiona, people from Nakuru. There's a waiter there who's deaf.
Oh, yes.
And his t-shirt has been written that, you know, I can't hear, so you can use sign language if possible, but he is doing an amazing job.
Oh,
that's
great.
the first hotel I've seen in Nakuru that has employed someone who's, you know...
Get me. Oh, you off the cut, baby, I'll get to know it.
Yes.
It's a nice one.
I really encourage that.
That's nice.
Big up.
That's nice.
Now, let's talk about, because I know this is very important, registration for people with disabilities. Why is that important?
Oh,
yeah.
That tells me, by the way, Rachel, if you allow me, from Monday till Friday, we're doing a mass registration, mass assessment and categorization for persons with disabilities in Nakuru County. And another counties, the other counties who are doing this, Kisii is doing this.
Okay.
I'm aware of Kisii, and now I'm aware of Nakuru.
Okay.
Now for Nakuru, we've done, we were in Bahati yesterday and Monday. We're in Rongai yesterday and today. We'll be in Subukia on Friday.
Okay.
Just for, we want to take this assessment, kule mashinani.
Yeah.
Rachel, for our assessment in the health facilities, we are charged. We are charged.
Okay.
And you know, disability comes with a lot of needs and poverty. Rachel, for if you are able-bodied, and myself, you say I need to work with a guide.
Yeah.
I spend more. You're paying for one person, I'm paying for two people.
Yeah.
If you're going with your wheelchair, you are charged for yourself, and you are charged for a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So because the matatu needs to get the money, so they pay for your chair, and you pay for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's very expensive to live as a person with disability. That's the truth. So for registration, we need people to be registered so that they enjoy the privileges and the rights for persons with disabilities.
Okay.
There are various programs that we have and the services for persons with disabilities in this nation. But until you have been registered, you cannot be a member. So you get the disability certificate.
Yeah.
We've been using the disability card. Currently, we are talking about the disability certificate, which is e-citizen generated. I want to also speak to people who are doubting the credibility of the disability certificate, that we are no longer using the cards.
Yeah.
The platform now is e-citizen, where you generate a disability certificate, which can be verified through the numbers that are there and the scan code that will be available.
Okay.
So once the person is registered, if I may walk you through the process, after the assessment and categorization, which is done in the health facilities, where a panel sits, they assess you and categorize you, whether visually impaired, physically impaired, hearing impaired, or progressive or mental issues are there, or we have epilepsy, so there are visible and invisible disabilities. So, like the deaf, unless they tell you I'm not hearing, or unless that label is given, like the one you've said, you will not know. That is invisible. So after the assessment, that document is available for the client. The client now can go to the cyber or visit our offices for the registration, which is in the eCitizen platform, where they are uploading that disability medical report, their ID or passport or birth certificate, and a passport. Once they have been registered, they will be issued with a disability certificate. With that now, access to services is possible, either at the county level or at the national level. You see, there are revenue exemptions we'll be talking about. You remember that? You need the registration certificate for employment as a support document. For you to be given a higher score rating during the interview, you need to prove that you've been registered as a person with disability. That is it.
All right.
Yes.
Now, I know that we are winding up, but this is a very important point to talk about for someone who's seated at home and they are persons with disability, or rather they know someone with a disability. Now, while we were starting, we said that you are the County Disability Services Officer in the National Council for Persons with Disabilities here in Nakuru. So this is a good platform for the people who have disabilities to get help. So someone who'd love to get help, or someone who'd love to just ask a question or get clarification about something, where are your offices? Where are you located?
Our offices are located at the regional offices, or formerly known as the PC blocks. Down there at Block A, Room 5. You'll be able to find us. We work from Monday to Friday from 8 to 5. We are available for inquiries. We are available for discussions on how to better your life as a person with disabilities. Because we are in the club, so we can speak to you about it in a very honest way. Yes.
Perfect. Now, we'll be giving the numbers in a very short while for the people who want to call. But before we do that, let's get the myth busters, so that we'll be able to just see what are some of the myths that surround people with disabilities. Now, you'll be telling us, we'll mention the first one, then you'll tell us if it's a myth or it's actually true, right?
All right.
So the first one is that people with disabilities are always dependent. So is that true or it's a myth?
That's not true. I can do so much without depending on somebody. I do a lot. I was in college. I didn't have anybody around me. I used to cook for myself. By the way, Rachel, I took home science. So I'm able to do a little bit of needleworks. I do a lot of, I'm able to do computer. I'm able to use the adaptive technology and run through a document, read through, prepare a document, prepare a presentation. Only for a few areas where we may need a hand, where technicalities could arise. But that is not true.
All right.
Yes.
On to the second one, on the myth busters. Myth busters, perfect. Is that disability is always visible? Is that true or not true?
Not true, Rachel, again. I already said some disabilities are invisible. You see, if somebody is deaf and they are standing, you will not know. There are people, there are various causes of disabilities even for blindness. There are people who lose their eyes and they might not look like my eyes. My eyes, if you look at them, I'm told you could easily tell that they are having issues. But you see, there are people whose eyes are just as okay as they were, but they cannot see you. That's not visible. Talk about epilepsy. Somebody is using drugs. Can you tell whether they are disabled? No. Psychiatric. There are bipolar cases, Rachel. Schizophrenia. I met a person who was sharing with me the experiences on schizophrenia, even when he's lost a family because of schizophrenia. But it's not visible unless they tell you, I am having a psychiatric issue. You'll not know.
All right.
So that is not visible.
Okay.
Of course, they are physical, disabilities which you can see, like the loss of limbs, your forelimbs or the lower limbs. Yeah, that is possible.
All right.
Yes.
On to the other mythbusters.
Yes.
The third one is that people with disabilities are always unhappy and dissatisfied. This is
Rachel, I don't know. You are saying I'm unhappy. Maybe I don't know how to smile.
You're very happy.
Me, I think I can be very happy.
Yeah.
We do a lot. I am a pastor and an ordained reverend.
Amazing.
I minister in a church.
Okay.
So if really I cannot thrill up my congregation, I'm worried.
Yeah.
So I think the people with disabilities can be amazing. Can be amazing women, can be amazing husbands, can be amazing wives with a lot of romance, a lot of things that you cannot imagine, Rachel.
True, true.
I am married, I have a family. I came over with my son.
Oh, wow.
And I have a wife. Somebody was asking me, how did you land on this one? A story for another day. But we can be amazing. We enjoy life. The other day they were taking me at the park. And they were ensuring that I'm hearing the smell of a buffalo.
Oh, wow.
I enjoy the environment. So we are not always unhappy. Why should I miss happiness? In fact, I'm talking about joy. Because it is something in you.
Yeah.
Happiness is a face you wear.
Yeah.
But we are more than happiness. We are joyful.
Okay.
I think
great.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's a myth.
It's a myth. That's a myth.
Yes.
All right. Now, that's it for the mythbusters.
All right.
And I know that we had gotten more on the healthy living just before we started the discussion.
All right.
So it has been an amazing discussion. We've learned so much about persons with disabilities.
Yes.
And it has been a good time about sensitizing the community as well.
Sure.
About what they are supposed to do, how they're supposed to also just support people or persons with disabilities. So it has been amazing. So for someone who would want to call for, more information, is there a number?
Yes, there is a number. I normally share my personal numbers.
Yeah.
I also share the office numbers. I share my personal numbers because people are having issues. Sometimes they say the office didn't pick their calls.
Yeah.
So when you call me, I'll pick your call.
Okay.
But call me between 8 and 5 of a Monday and a Friday.
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday, I'm very busy in church. So when I receive your call, I'll receive you and put you through the noise of the church. Because we love a noisy church.
Yeah.
So we talk about noise. So maybe you don't call in that timing.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe, Rach, I'm sure our time is not with us.
Yeah.
Allow me in a minute before I share the number. I don't know whether that is allowed, that I could just throw up a statement
Yeah.
for my people with disabilities and just the general community.
Yeah.
There are two things I want to bring to your attention. But before then, I give you my personal story like I started. You see, in my family, I am not the only child in that family who has a visual impairment. Yes.
Okay.
Very importantly saying, because there are people who have just one child with a disability and they are thinking otherwise. Some are quitting.
Yeah.
Some men are running away from families because mtoto amezaliwa na nini? Na cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
Mimi nataka kukuambia kwetu mama yangu na baba yangu they are all late. They gave birth to 5 persons with visual impairment. 5, not 2. 5.
Okay.
It was not a sweet experience.
Yeah.
Na sio hawakuwa na kazi. My mother alikuwa hapo and my father ni waliyekuwa najaribu sana kwa majani chai. Hizi za T-zones hapa Kericho. Alifanya hapo miaka nyingi sana kutulisha na kutuvisha. I can tell you 5 in that family is not an easy. Not 5 as one and then you skip. 5 in a series, Rachel. So our firstborn has visual impairment. Then I'm the secondborn. Then there's a third one. Then there's a fourth one. And then there's the last born. 5 boys. From one woman, one man. It is not the sweetest thing you would want to have.
True.
But I think God purposes some of these things for a reason. Imenipatia nafasi kusonga sana. And just to encourage somebody who is having one. child with disability. Yesterday I met a woman anafunika mtoto mpaka kwa mdomo, hataki aonekane. Amemleta assessment lakini anataka kumfunika na blanketi zimeletewa Recho. Anamfunika kabisa, najua iko. Kwa nini? Anamficha. I want to believe huko Makurusoi, huko Masouth, huko ndani kabisa. There are people who are still believing watoto ni kasi. Toeni mtoto nje utaona sio kasi, ni baraka. Me have lived through. Nilienda shule kwa hiyo njia ngumu, na huyo mtoto ataenda shule kwa hiyo njia ngumu. But God has always a purpose for each person. That's why kuna Safariant na kuna Elephant. Our numbers we share our numbers.
That's very powerful.
Yes, we share our numbers. My personal number is 0725 436 936.
Okay.
A very simple one.
Okay. Once again.
0725 436 936.
Perfect.
Our office's number is 0745 489 199.
Once again.
0745 489 199.
Perfect.
You can reach us. We said Monday to Friday. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about the challenge. Lakini sitaki watu wanapenda kulialia Recho. Hii watu wabadilishe mawazo. Watu wajue lazima tujipiganie. We must occupy the space. You remember Gen Z wakisema nini? Occupy. Disability pia tunasema we want to occupy our space.
Very important.
Very important, Rachel. Yes.
Thank you so much, Isaac, for being with us today. It has been such an encouragement to everyone, and also to the persons living with disabilities, for them to know that they are not disadvantaged.
They are not.
In fact, they have privileges.
Very many.
So that if they have the information, they're supposed to register what they can do, they're able to kwenda mbali sana. Right? So thank you so much for being with us today. God bless you. We're hoping we'll have a discussion.
Thank you for hosting us. We have so much in store for persons with disabilities, and we're hoping MBCI is also going to, I had you preach this gospel as I was coming in your adverts. So keep this on going. It's part of the beauty we want to create.
Asante sana.
Thank you. We'll be coming again.
Asante sana.
Nice.
Now, let's get the Did You Know? This tells you that you're now winding up on today's show, which has been really amazing. Today's Did You Know inasema ya kwamba, so did you know that dreamt is the only English word that ends with MT? Yeah, you can go research. Dreamt is the only English word that ends with MT. Kama kuna ingine kesho, make sure umetuambia. Thank you.
Dreamt.
Yes, it's the only word in English that ends with MT.
That's nice.
So that is it for Did You Know today. God bless you. God be with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do value your time highly. Today we've been talking about persons with disabilities. We've given contact, so that tells you that if you need anything, you'll be able to get. Just reach out. There's so much help for you. There's kuna privileges mingi sana for you. Sawa sawa. So let's now wind up with the health tips. Tutakuwa tunapata health tips, alafu tutakuwa tunamalizia. So God bless you. We'll see you on Friday. On Friday we'll be having a flavor right here on the Gospel Friday. It will be an amazing time. So do not miss out. But also tomorrow we'll be having an amazing show right here with Ena Eli Luceno and the one and only Mangicho Mola. Have a blessed rest of the day. Tupate health tips, alafu tumalizie.
Leo katika makala yetu ya health tips tutakuwa tukiangazia beetroots. Beetroots are a good source of nutrients, fiber and many plant compounds. Faida za kiafya za beetroot. Kwanza, hupunguza shinikizo la damu. Mizizi ina nitrati ambayo huongeza mtiririko wa damu mwilini. Pili, hukuza afya ya moyo. Beetroot inaweza kupunguza hatari ya ugonjwa wa moyo na kiharusi kwa sababu ya uwepo wa nitrate. Tatu, inaweza kusaidia katika kupunguza uzito. Beetroot ni chini ya kalori na ina maji na nyuzi ambayo huwafanya mboga bora kwa kupoteza uzito. Fiber inajulikana kuharakisha kupoteza uzito kwa kukandamiza hamu yako na kukufanya ujisikie kamili kwa kipindi kirefu na hivyo kupunguza ulaji wako wa kalori. 4. Inaboresha afya ya ubongo. Uwepo wa nitrati kwenye beetroot inaweza kuboresha kazi ya akili na utambuzi. Nitrati zilizo kwenye mende hupanua mishipa ya damu ambayo huongeza mtiririko wa damu kwenda kwenye ubongo na hivyo kuboresha utendaji wa ubongo na kupunguza hatari ya shida ya akili kwa watu wazima wakubwa. 5. Hupambana na kuvimba. Beetroot ina betalains ambayo inajulikana kuonyesha mali ya kupambana na uchochezi, na kutumia mboga hii itasaidia kupunguza maumivu na usumbufu unaohusishwa na uchochezi. 6. Huzuia upungufu wa damu. Beetroot huwa na chuma kikubwa na madini muhimu ambayo huongeza viwango vya hemoglobin katika damu na kuzuia ukuzaji wa upungufu wa damu. Ni hayo tu kwa sasa, na ni matumaini yangu mtazamaji wangu ya kwamba umeweza kuelewa ama kufahamu faida za beetroot katika hii makala yetu ya Health Tips. Hadi Jumatano ijayo, jina langu ni Perpetual Nyambura.